all the way up in the sky.
Did you see all the different colours?
Yeah.
What the hell is it? It's not a plane.
It's pretty high up in the sky as well. Yeah. Go talk to them. What would they say? What did the police say? They're going to call it in. What, like get on air traffic control or whatever? Holy shit.
Well, a plane just went past it.
What, so what happened? What?
It was like a giant white light and it went
What, just went straight across the sky?
it just disappeared. Maybe I think
It just turned its lights off.
yeah. It went over here.
Heaps of people on the street. Having a look up in the sky. This is David Attenborough. And what we have here is what we believe to be an alien.
So we're going to be talking about aliens and all the different types, and I have this thing in my possession which I've had for quite a number of years, and I'm going to share it with all of you tonight. And these are all the different types of aliens, I guess, as captured, or because it's actually on alien races, all the various alien races, and it has a lot of things in there. It's actually a book which I was very lucky to get a hold of, the PDF version, and I'm just going to read you a little bit of the dialogue here. In 2004, I became friends with a Ukrainian guy called Petro that I met completely randomly at a bar by the beach. I was on holidays and he was there with some friends having drinks. Anyway, we started talking with each other. Our friendship started like that. He became a regular at my house where our families would get together. In 2008, he called me and asked if I wanted to go on a road trip. I said sure. He had in mind to go to the south of Spain and visit his brother. His brother was there in jail at the time near Huelva, and also to visit his father in Portugal. His father was a former diplomat of the Ukraine. Years before, and when he retired, he decided to move to Portugal and live there. And so we went. We visited his brother and then went to Portugal to visit his father. When we were at his house, he asked us a favour. He's old. If we could empty boxes from one of the rooms, and as he wanted to make into a bedroom for guests. When we were at his house, we said okay. Sorry, I was reading the same line. And went to the room, expecting to see some old newspapers. Instead, we found about 58 boxes full of old documents and books from the time when he was a diplomat. Some papers, documents were in Russian, some were even from the USSR times. Petro started reading, translating some of them, and we realized that there was a lot of interesting, intriguing, and even top secret, at least at one time, document. So we asked his father if we could keep the boxes for ourselves. He agreed, and we went to rent a van to take everything back home with us. Week after week in our houses, we mainly on the weekends went through all of the documents, translating them, cataloguing them by subject matter or dates and places, etc. As due to work, we were apart quite often. We also did a lot of work online. That's when we found the book that led to the videos I published. So they've got videos as well, apparently. This one book that we had is undated and looks modern, but we did find the cover, only the cover for the same book, but dating back to 1951. We called his father later that year and asked him about the book, and he filled in the missing information. He said that amongst high-ranking political officials, there had always been the rumor of alien contact, but nothing concrete. He said that he had received the book years before from one of his long-life diplomats friends and had been updating the book until recently with information that friends of his had sent him, or when they would get together and talk about old times. The information, regular updates, were sent to him by mail, phone, or online. He still gets regular updates that transmits to me. The book has hundreds of side notes on the pages, updates, small paper with related miscellaneous info attached to pages, photos stapled to them. That is how we found out about a relatively recent visit from aliens, their numbers, where it happened, etc. They had even been updating the information they could get regularly. But he also said that there was only a handful of people that were in the know back in the USSR days. The leader of the Communist Party and a couple of advisors, 5 or 6 SMERSH agents, maybe more, up to 12. The commander of the armed forces and the commanders of the 3 armed forces branches, Army, Air Force and Navy, and maybe a couple of scientists. He said that most likely there were more people in the know, especially in the military, but he could not confirm that. Him and his friends did not recognize some of the names mentioned on the book. People have asked me about some of the illustrations of certain alien races in the book. This is because some of them were literally copied off movies and or video games. Not all. Me and Petro asked ourselves the same thing, as we recognized some of them, and we did contact the father in order to get an answer. He told us that over the years, the people that were adding, updating, printing the book had been using alien images from the media when they did not have a real photo or a drawing of the witnesses. So sometimes they used images from movies and video games that better describe the alien race in question. This according to witness testimonies, description of their encounters. However, he did say something else, something extremely interesting. He told us that amongst high-ranking diplomats, there had been much solid discussion and debate about a plan involving certain media discussion, from online, from paper to Hollywood, to video, to game industry, and certainly security departments, especially from Japan, China, Canada, USA, and Europe, in order to use the right to them regarding the images to describe the appearance of aliens. All the media involved was, in the end, either directly or indirectly owned to the mother companies, owned for no more than 5 people, and this was concerted effort in order to get more people, humankind, used to the appearance and presence of aliens amongst us. He, Petro's father, also told us that some of the alien races, images used in video games and other media, were used in the book prior to the release of the games and or movies. Him and some of his friends had acknowledged that some of those security departments had actually created some of the images, then released them to the proper channels in order for those images to be known to the general public. This obviously we could not confirm, except for one of the images in the book. The aliens used in the movie Independence Day were known before the making, not even close, of the movie by at least 8 years. Also, some of the photos on the ARB have been tampered with. And so, there you have it, the story behind the alien race's Russian secret book, at least some of it. I hope you enjoy the book and all the revelations contained in it. This book is dedicated to the memory of Petro. So we've got here the ARB has re-edited information, always being updated in all aspects, from new alien races to new reports and photos or illustrations, at least 12 times. That we know the first edition was printed in 1946 or early 1947. Then new editions were printed 1951. I have the cover, just the cover of that one. 1959, 1968, 1971, 1980, all the way to, we believe, 2011. The lost copy. In the 1980s, copy of edition of this book was found a field of Buryatia, East Siberia. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Their copy ended up in the hands of the KGB agents with friends in the media. After the collapse of the USSR, some of the information and images in the book were leaked, sold, ? Years later, the information and some of the images started appearing in TV series, video games, Mass Effect being the most well-known. This information was handwritten in the book. So I'm going to switch the screen over now. 3 daughters of a certain captain simply vanished. Captain Andriuk was of Russian descent and very little known about him except that he travelled a lot. A farmer that lived near Captain Andriuk's house said that he saw the captain's daughters walking towards the woods maybe 2 hours before sunrise. Intrigued, he followed them at a distance. After walking for 30 minutes, he described seeing purple and red lights and mist through the trees. He got closer and saw the 3 girls entering what he called a floating bright windmill-like plane. He also reported seeing 5 creatures as small as the children, but with much older face. According to him, the windmill that they then flew slowly into the stars until he could not tell them apart. According to the farmer, he ran to Captain Andriuk's house to warn him of the event. This photo supposedly shows the farmer's house. Upon arriving, he knocked on the door, but nobody answered. He then entered the house and found the captain and his wife dead in their bed. Their faces were peaceful, as if they had died during their sleep. All their animals, 3 dogs, 1 horse, 2 goats, were dead as well. On the kitchen table there was a letter or note not signed, with the handwriting that matched Sophia, one of the daughters. It said, "We are going to the school in the moon with our friends." Supposed photo of Sophia not confirmed. To Smersh Agents Department 4A112. It is your duty to thoroughly investigate all events regarding any reports of visitations or incidents concerning creatures from other planets, as well as with non-terrestrial creatures that dwell on our planet at the present or future time. It is your duty to immediately present to your superior in charge, KL44, any material evidence gathered during your investigations. It is your duty to keep absolute secrecy and concealment regarding your findings and conclusion during your investigations, except from your superior in charge, KL44. It is your duty to immediately destroy this book in case your physical being or personal safety is threatened. The loss of this book, while in your possession, will result in serious consequences for your 2 Smersh companion agents as well as your immediate relatives. Make use of your extensive training and love for our great union. Chief Marshal Konstantin Vershinin, 1947. This book of alien races is both an instructions manual and a source of information to be used now and in the future until the day it will be needed no more. Learn from it and add to it. Investigation of events, when with humans, interrogate witness, gather physical evidence, and when with aliens, engage with them, follow them, learn from them. You are forbidden of showing this book to anyone, talking about the book to anyone, talking about or revealing your investigative activities to anyone, drinking alcohol on or off duty, consuming drugs and off duty, helping alien races, no matter the situation or request, choosing sides when physically amongst different alien races or during investigations, and of engaging in sexual activities with any members of any alien race. Alien races. Algruk, aka the builders. They come from constellation sculpture. They derive from an ancient race of reptilians that has gone extinct. They are specialists at building ships and other devices needed for deep space travel. They are also space travelers themselves, searching for new raw materials. They can live up to 230 years. Last seen near Tokyo, Japan, 2005. Kili Tokorot. They come from constellation Vela near the star Sahol. Moliv. They grow up to 2 meters high, 6 foot, and live up to 200 years. They can shapeshift and are very hard to detect. Now remember, some of these are not actual photos or drawings, so keep that in mind. When they shapeshift, only thing they cannot change is the size and colour of their eyes. They are one of the oldest known races. They do abduct humans. Last seen early on Earth in July 2008. The words get harder. Pleiadians. They come from solar systems surrounding the Pleiades stars. They more precisely from the planet Era near the star Taygeta. They are associated with spiritual growth. They can grow up to 2.5 meters, 8 foot. They practice sex cultivation. They distinct difference between their sexual expressions and sensual emotions. Their ships are known as beam ships. Although regularly visiting Earth, they have remained mostly silent since 10,000 BC. They are one of the oldest known races. They continue to develop the necessary mental skills to eventually reach their goal, an even higher spiritual state. Kilimayuk. They come from constellation Volans. The sighting of this race on Earth are rare, and they are considered as a mystery race. It is said that they were forbidden to visit Earth around the year 1000 BC, but they did not stop visiting Earth completely. This is because of their allies, the race Meta, last seen on Earth December 1989. Kurds, gods of lands, believed to be related to the race Anuka or Anukai. They come from the planet Dilemans. They are the race behind the story of Enlil and Ninlil. They were directly involved on the development of the human race during our early stages. After centuries away from Earth, they recently returned. Their own leader is amongst the most recent visitors. They will now stay on Earth permanently. They will have an important role in the years to come. They spend time immersed in a precious gold-like liquid that presumably extends their lifespan. I've seen something similar to this. The face actually, if this is, I'm just giving you an example, the face was swirling. They come from Havhanu Chondrus. They come from Galaxy Sextans dwarf SPH, first visited Earth 1934 AD in the area we now know as Romania. They often abduct and kill humans. They also drain and drink the blood of humans as well as blood of animals. They are responsible for the myth of vampires. Well, that never happened to me, obviously. Several human governments known and accept their actions. The human bodies that they use are never returned. Last sighted Scotland in 1996. So if that's how it is, I don't want to know them. Okay. Anuki, thank you. Mazarek. They come from constellation Camelopardalis. From the 1300s to the early 1900s, our calendar, they were not allowed to leave their planet by other alien races. They are a very violent and predatory race. They are known to be allies of the race Maita. They grow up to 1.6 meters, 5 foot, last seen on Earth August of 2001. Algrolix. They come from constellation Cetus near Deneb, Katos, Shamali. Although they are often confused with reptilian races, they do not share anything with them except their appearance. Their height is around 2.6 meters, 2 meters, 6 foot, and they can live up to 350 years. This is one of 21 races that are known to have more than 2 genders, sexes. The race has 8 different genders, and all of them can produce with one another. Interesting, isn't it, that when this was actually written, then all of a sudden we've got all these different types of genders, or non-genders around us. Just saying. The purpose for their visit to Earth is unknown. Last sighting was near Lima, Peru, December 2004. The messengers. Probably the most enigmatic of all alien races. Not much is known about them. They visit Earth around every 300 years. Their next visit is supposed to happen any time now. They do not reveal themselves. They do not make direct contact with humans. They leave carvings, drawings, and writings on rocks, as well as symbols in historical monuments. Their ships have the shape of a teardrop and are silver in colour. Rame. They come from Capella, constellation Auriga. Known to be a very peaceful race, they tried to coexist with humans. They created the Mayan cultivation culture by placing humans from different places on Earth in South America. They are a race of scientists. They taught the Mayans about astronomy and time. They left Earth when the Mayans were in their highest splendor. After the Mayans started the well-known blood sacrifices in their honor. This race has been on Earth many times after that, last seen Bora Bora in 2001. Movianthan Kafik, also known as Shining Ones or Shinning Ones. They come from the constellation Vulpecula. They've met with at least 2 USA presidents, as well as USSR and now Russian leaders, and some high-ranking officials. They supply limited amounts of their technology to humans in exchange for the freedom to conduct abductions. They do not involve other alien races in this process. They had a big role in Siberian and Tibetan culture. They still have bases in those areas, hidden in the north face of mountains. They have colonized over 40 planets outside of our solar system so far. Rack. Of the 58 races described here, this is the race that least visited Earth that we know of so far, only 5 times. They visited the area we know as the Middle East, and that created the belief in the jinn or genies in Islamic mythology. According to some Muslim scholars, they inhabit an unseen world in a dimension beyond the existing dimensions of our universe. According to reports from other alien races, They stopped visiting Earth because their immune system could not cope with Earth's fauna and flora. Last recorded visit, 712 AD. The Invisibles. This race is known to have been seen near high security areas. They are almost completely invisible to the naked eye. Both the USA and Russian military have developed technology that allows them to track them down on radar, just the ships. 3 things are known about this race. 1. They leave a sour smell when they are near. 2. When they are near windows, you can see their reflection as a smudge-like figure have been caught on CCTV footage. 3. When many dogs or only one start barking with no apparent reason, it's possible that they are nearby, or reptilians. They come from the constellation Mensa, purpose of presence unknown. Omahaluk Strut 163. They were forced to leave Earth after losing in a battle against reptoids in an ancient India, date unknown, which they have been visiting for around 200 years. They have resumed their visits to Earth in 1948. Bear with me, just grab it. Oh. Technologically, this is a very advanced race. Their ships are often invisible to radar and the human eye, and they wear some sort of clothing that makes them invisible as well. Supposedly, they come from Jupiter or from one of its moons. Last sighting, Portugal, May 2005. Ainana. The members of this race are the cause why humans coined the term Martians. They come from constellation Gemini. They have had permanent bases on Mars for thousands of years, where they mine some sort of gold-like material. First recorded visit to Earth, 1235 BC in Japan. Last sighting, Madagascar, 2003. Indicate. Anybody? This race has several bases on and in the moon where they mine unknown material. They use slaves to do most of the work. These slaves are extremely well taken care of, and the Indicate see them as indispensable. Their operations on and in the moon are very secretive. They are in almost permanent contact with high-ranking officials from the USA, China, and Russia federal governments. They have the ability to shapeshift into an almost perfect human form. They're also known as Men in Black. They use special dark suits to protect their skin when in human shape while conducting special operations on Earth. Kilomet R or KR. I don't know whether they say it as ARR. They come from the constellation Crux near Gakrux. It's a very hard race to track down or spot. Both the USA and the Russian military have developed special camera and radar systems that allow to spot them when they are on Earth. But even then, they have been sighted 8 times. The purpose of their presence is unknown. When they are sighted, it is usually in the area known as the Bermuda Triangle. (2017) No image. They have only contacted humans one time in the USSR in 1935. According to the reports, they spoke some kind of Slavic dialect. They left a written message with about 10 sentences. They come from the galaxy UDFJ 395-46284. Estimated distance from Earth, our standard, is 13.2 billion light years. They travel by using what other alien races call a wormhole, which allow them to bend space. Note from myself and Petro. On the original ARB, our copy edition, 9 of the sentences left by this race are blacked out. The only one that is not in this one is 2017 to 2022. According to reports, they were tall, had blonde, long hair, and smelled like flowers. Almanuk, they come from constellation Grus near star Alnair. They are one of the most peaceful races. They also created the Alliance of the Five Races, Council of the Five, but are not part of it. The Council of the Five are a group of 5 alien races that protect humans against less peaceful races. They coined the sentence 5 universes, 25,000 species, 1 race. The Council is supposed to meet on Earth during the last 10 days of August of 2013. The reason being the fact that Earth has been receiving too many visits from new races in the past 500 years. Last sighting on Earth near the Sea of Cortez, September 2002. Gigantic. Maintains sporadic contacts with 3 Earth governments, but not the most powerful ones, not USA, Russia, or China. Considered to have a violent nature by other races. They have been visiting Earth for 3,000 years. They come from the constellation Horologium and are known to have as allies the race Meta. Last sighting near Houston, USA, February 1st of 2003. Jeffok. They come from constellation Indus. They are known by other races as peacemakers. They are very advanced technologically. Their first sighting on Earth dates back to 1500 BC. They met with JFK 3 weeks before he was killed. They have also, around the same time, met with other human world leaders. They have not been seen on Earth since JFK's death. In 1965, they gave a message to the human leaders that ran countries with nuclear capability, content unknown. Dorsey. They grow to a maximum height of 0.5 meters, 1.6 foot. They have visited Earth at least 250 times. They come from Cassiopeia, where they have 2 home planets. They eat other alien races as well as humans. Their race is at least 4 billion years old, and they have been in a constant state of war with another alien species for 2 billion years. Last sighting on Earth, November 2001, Italian Alps. Magel. Known to be a very peaceful race. They have 2 permanent bases somewhere in South America. They are 100% nocturnal, do not interact with humans, and are described by other alien races as shy. They harvest insects and rodents by the many thousands on a monthly basis, reason unknown. At least 3 of them have been under Brazilian military custody for the past 12 years. Last sighting near Oax, I don't know how to pronounce that, Mexico in 2003. They are visited by their own kind every 20 years. The next visit should be around 2016, which has already been and gone. Akkad. They come from constellation Sextans. One of their ships crashed outside Varginha, Brazil in 1996. 2 of its occupants are under USA custody after having paid billions of dollars to Brazilian government. They have the fastest ships of any known alien race. Last sighting, February 2002, near Varginha, Brazil. Again. Meta. They have 2 home planets in constellation in Megapi. They have the same average height as humans, are considered by many alien races as parasites. Visited Earth for the first time during the prehistoric period, date unknown. Abduction of humans is carried out openly. They have the goal of colonizing Earth. It has not happened because protection from other alien races, such as the ones in the Council of the Five. They are hermaphrodites and their lifespan is 120 years. They have colonized at least 26 planets. They have abducted at least 5,000 human males. They have visited Earth at least 200 times. Last sighting, September 2006, near Nome, Alaska, USA. Dries. Their height is around 2.5 meters, 8 foot. They have very complex structure of their skull. Visited Earth at least 20 times. They carry out human abductions, which they use for human reproduction. They have abducted at least 520 humans, males and females. They come from the third star in constellation Cetus. They have 2 home planets. They have colonized at least 40 planets with the help of slaves. 10 of those planets were taken with the use of force. They work together with other races, 3 other races. They mostly eat animal protein derived products. According to alien reports, they are not mentally, spiritually prepared to interact with most other races. Their 2 home planets' chemical composition is similar to Earth. They are supposed to reveal themselves to humans in an open manner in 2022. Interesting. Lang. Small species growing only up to 70 centimeters, 2 foot. They come from the 6th star in constellation Coma Berenices. They have 3 home planets. So this is what happens when you're talking all day. They have 3 home planets, maybe 4, and have colonized at least 10. They were one of the first races to visit Earth. They were the race that started the stories about fairies. 2 alien races claim they have abducted over 10 million humans throughout history. That number is slightly disputed by 2 other races. They state that the number is much lower, and one race even made a statement to Russian president saying that the race Lang has never been abducted by any human. Last sighting New Zealand in 2006, a group of 20 members. SMAD, no image. They come from the planet Svok, constellation Bataray. Their ships have a conical shape. They resemble humans in appearance. According to one alien race, they only have 6 ships left. Try saying that fast. They colonized 20 planets. 18 of them were inhabited. They first visited Earth in 2,500 years ago and are very interested in our religious beliefs. They are a race in decline, weakening according to other alien races. Tangri. They come from the planet Tangri. Who would have thought? Galactic Sector 56, Star System F1342. They live underground and have a population of 10 million. First visit to Earth 10,000 years ago. They do not need an atmosphere of water to survive. They have 1 ship that can accommodate 5 million of their kind. They have had contact with human governments throughout history. Last known sighting near Buenos Aires, Argentina in 2003. Gracely. Their height averages the same as that of humans, are covered in a soft silky hair. They have 2 home planets in the Virgo star system. They have visited Earth at least 12 times. Their first visit happened during the era dynasties of Egypt's pharaohs around 3,000 years ago. They spent 10 uninterrupted years there during that time. The Djoser pyramid was built in their honor. They've been keeping a close look at humans' development for the past 200 years, knowing that some powerful humans can and are being misled by some alien races disguised as humans. Only 6 of them travel each time in their ships. Last sighting, July 2002, February 2014. Anukin. They come from the planet Nibiru, also known as Nibiru. Their planet is part of the same solar system as Earth, but with a much longer orbit. It comes closer to the Sun every 4,000 years, not every 3,500 years as commonly accepted. They resemble humans, but are higher, 2.5 meters, 8 foot, and more muscular. When they first visited Earth, there were already other races established here, some malevolent and with supernatural powers. The Anakim defeated them and became the most powerful race on Earth. They genetically engineered the most intelligent non-alien beings on Earth. Us, at the time, not much more than smart primates, in order to have races of slaves at their disposal. At the time, Samuel and Lilith were the Anakim king and queen. They were not aware of the presence of reptilians on Earth. They only cooperated with one other race, the Zeta Reticuli, not to be confused with the Solipsi Ray, so don't confuse that, the Greys. Eventually, they left Earth, unknown reasons. But before they left, they became rulers of Egypt, pharaohs. They created a subspecies of the Zeta. This species eventually became rulers of Egypt, pharaohs, until the reptilians filtrated them as temple priests and ended their reign. They gave birth to the legends about giants. They will return one day as promised by themselves. However, the date of their return is still a mystery. They do know all that is happening on Earth, as well as in other planets where they have influence and still have. The proximity of planet Nibiru, does cause cosmic instability and weather-related repercussions in all planets of the solar system, but does not cause the amount of destruction that it usually accepted and believed. How far they are is still a mystery. Aphim. They come from constellation Lyra. They call themselves Aphim Spansi, because of a war that they fought against a race called Spansi. The Spansi race had 12 times more members and 35 times more ships and resources than the Aphim, but the Aphim won in the end. So they added the Spansi name to their own race name as a warning to other races. They are smaller than humans in stature. Their skin is covered with blue spots, darker for males, lighter for females. Their planet is called Crimea Petri. I'm so sorry for my pronunciations. Technology. They are extremely developed. Technologically, goodness, Karen, get it right. They are extremely developed. They can travel from their planet to Earth in 20 Earth minutes. They do not need oxygen. They do have an atmosphere, but it is composed mainly of hydrogen mixed environment. They have colonized 10 planets in a non-violent way. When they are close to humans, they can become invisible. But humans, when around them, will feel a certain amount of unexplained anxiety. Their ships are small and spherical in shape. One of the reasons they visit us is to study what they call human deviation in order to determine the development of the human race. Solipsi Ray, peaceful and harmonious race. They have one main leader, and his name is Martin. Their civilization is 2 billion years old. Once they were at the same level of development as ourselves. They have no colonies. They are completely focused on the development of other planets and races. They come from constellation Cygnus. They do have one powerful weapon that keeps some neighbouring violent races away, and others that may try to invade them. At one time, a race mater lost 5 ships because of it. They said that the human race in the next few thousand of years, still has 645 options left to save ourselves, our planet, to guarantee a future for our race. But it will all depend on our ability to travel through space. They are Solipsi Ray, but we call them Greys. This race, Puxity, is very influential in some South and Central American cultures. At one time, they had over 2,000 members living amongst humans in their regions. God, I'm all over the place. Until one day when most of them left, leaving behind only 25 of their own. Humans then killed them. They have not returned to Earth since that incident. They were known to be very tall. Some reports from one alien race say that some of them were as tall as 4 meters, 13 foot. The reasons why the local humans killed the 25 Puxites is unknown. X5 Tukut. This race was created by the race Meta in order to be used as slaves and still what they serve for. They're often sent by the Meta to security-sensitive regions, working as messengers and also to conduct abductions. They can live forever as they are not organic. However, the raw materials that the Meta need to build one are very rare. So there are not many of them, estimation less than 300. They are able to use rational thinking as well as flying ships and many other tasks. Last seen on Earth in July 1997 near Brisbane, Australia. Tanzania. They come from the constellation Perseus near the star Gorgonia Secunda. They have caused thousands, maybe millions of deaths on Earth and other planets as one of their interests or area of study is how other races react to tragedies and cataclysms. Technology, they are extremely advanced. One alien race reported that the Tanzania caused both the crashing of the Hindenburg as well as the sinking of the Titanic. They can live up to 500 years and are around 1.7 meters tall, 5 foot. They are avoided by other alien races. Last sighting January 1999 in New York State. Just so you're aware, there are 184 pages of this. So what I'm going to do is just skim through some of these to show you. Let me try and scroll. This book is the Alien Races book. Now we know that there was some, what's it called? There is some, I think it's in America somewhere where, or some other country where they found skulls of what they thought were aliens, but the deformed shape of the head is through binding. Apparently royal people, people in royalty, if they had their head bound, the longer their head, the more powerful their stature was in society and everything. Has anybody got sound? Has anybody got sound? The sound's working my end. I just checked it on my phone. It's not cutting in and out, unless it's just me I'm not talking all the time. Okay. Don't come across one of these. This must be a drawing someone's done, I would say. This is not a photo. Must be a witness drawing. This one can shapeshift as many as 4 times in 10 seconds. No, royals aren't reptilians. But then again, you never know. Morrison could be. In the Council of Five. Very little is known about the 5 alien races that are a part of the Council of Five. The races that are a part of this council, previously known as the Council of 9, have been protecting Earth and humans for as long as there are alien records of it. Some say they have been protecting the planet even before humans existed for millions of years. An alien race reported that the Council of Five last met on Earth in 1944. Note of Petro and myself, we found handwritten note on the ARB dated July 2005 stating that the Council of Five is going to meet on Earth during the last 10 days of August of 2013. The same note also mentioned the fact that the presence and arrival of those 5 races could cause cosmic events that can affect the Earth's atmosphere. It's also said that humans would be seeing an increase of alien ships during activity during that period. It's interesting, like when this was written, obviously, and the fact that we are having a lot of, atmosphere changes. Who knows? But it doesn't help when they're sending rockets into space, breaking through the ozone layer over and over, and the amount of pollution in the world. Continuation of note. The note also states that the meeting of the council is to discuss possible threats to Earth and humans, as well as the fact that so many new alien races have been visiting Earth lately. By lately, the notes state that means to the 5 for the past 500 years. According to several alien races, the Council of Five at the time, Council of Nine, has monitored human evolution since primordial times, since humans were only a one-cell marine organism, and throughout all natural evolution when humans became primate-like creatures. I'm not even going to go there because I don't believe in that crap. According to those same alien races, all evolutionary sequences in all planets have a beginning and an end, with all the exception of minor details due mostly to radical weather changes. After the Anunnaki tampered with the DNA of primates and created humans, the Council of Five decided not only monitor but also protect us, as they realized that one day humans would be able to join their alien races in development and enlightenment. The Council of Five is composed of the following races: Orella, Exerpt, Jinvo, Reden, looks like a relative of mine. Sorry, I had to say it. Well, it does. And then we have Emerther. It is generally agreed that the Emerther is the most important race, not only of the Council, but also amongst all known races. They are related to the Solipsi ray, but much older and advanced in all levels. They were one of the founder races of the Council. They met with the USA President Eisenhower in 3 different occasions. They also met with 2 high-ranking USSR leaders in 3 different occasions, and they do not force anything upon humans to meet with the USA President Nixon, but he refused, claiming that it would be too dangerous, as they could maybe read his mind and find out about delicate national security secrets concerning the relations with the USSR. In 2003, the China National Space Administration received the reply from the Pioneer plaques sent in 1972 and 73 aboard the Pioneer 10 and 11. Despite many requests and offers from the USA, the EU, Australia and Russia for China to share the information on the reply, Chinese have not done that yet. In 1985, 3 alien races delivered documents and video to the UN Secretary General Javier Perez de Cuellar, I don't know how to say his name, showing evidence of several planets within Earth's solar system that had a daily average temperature of 32 degrees Celsius, 89.6 Fahrenheit, and oceans. Case 737, Lafia, Nigeria. In August 21, 1957, a Caucasoid woman was found near Lafia. She was not dressed, matching the area nor the time period. She was taken to a local Dutch landowner and interrogated. Reports say that she claimed to be Captain Benjamin Briggs' wife, Sarah. Captain Benjamin Briggs was the captain of the Mary Celeste, a British-American merchant ship that was discovered on the December 4, 1872 in the Atlantic Ocean, unmanned and apparently abandoned. She committed suicide the same night. Okay, this is interesting. The Maita have been involved in several tragedies throughout human history. Some of the worst plagues were inflicted by them, with the knowledge and agreement of the reptilians who want the human population to never go over 8 billion. The reptilians have abducted female humans for thousands of years. Most of their hybrid offspring are sent away to other planets that they have colonized. Some stay on Earth, where they become powerful members infiltrated in society. Mars and the Moon have been overmined and explored for the past 33,000 years. The races that do it are going deeper and deeper inside the planet to reach the raw materials they want. Abandoned surface structures can be seen everywhere. All human religions have been created by alien races. They want to keep humans divided and the truth about creation in secret. They roam the corridors of religious power as members of pseudo-religious spiritual human organizations, such as the Masons. Most members of the Masons are clueless about the true intentions of a few. Yeah. Since the formation of the USSR, its leaders were extremely interested about all the information they could get on aliens. Their knowledge, little knowing that the death of Russia's Tsar Nicholas II had been, or the second I should say, had been planned by aliens, and that their own circles of power had already been infiltrated. Several secret missions were deployed by Stalin to South and Central America after two generals found a book that belonged to Tsar Nicholas II's wife, Tsarina Alexandria, and Grigory Rasputin. They had a map showing the location of alien bases. That map was later used in the school system, minus the base's location. The Philadelphia experiment of 1943 did happen, and it was successful after the third attempt. Further attempts failed. Contrary to belief, the experiment resulted from Albert Einstein's discovery of a manuscript along with a one metallic object found in a cave system and brought to Spain by Columbus on his last voyage. The manuscript found by Columbus contained extremely technologically advanced schematic drawings and information, and it was used to develop the unified field theory by Einstein, where he described mathematically and physically the interrelated nature of the forces that comprise electromagnetic radiation and gravity. Einstein had Illuminati connections. In 1933, near Vergate, Italy, someone's going to correct me on that, an alien ship belonging to the race Kalenia crashed, killing all its occupants inside. Many ancient Italian artifacts were found, the alien ones. Benito Mussolini created a secret group to look at that incident and any other future ones related to alien races. That group still exists, and it's called GIO-1. All the artifacts found on the wreck were put in a museum and passed as if found in an archaeological excavation. In 1950, another ship crashed in the same location. During the early 1950s, USA President Eisenhower and British PM Winston Churchill met several times to discuss the best ways to keep the alien presence on Earth away from the general public and from prying eyes. Together they created a top-secret task force called SILK. The task force was so secretive that its leader was an Air Force general from English descent that belonged to the military of Uruguay. Side by side with this general worked 2 USA and 2 English Secret Service agents. They were not allowed to write anything they investigated. All events and investigation progress were only reported face-to-face to both Churchill and Eisenhower. From 700 AD to the 19th century AD, and 50 battles between alien races were fought on Earth's skies and witnessed by thousands of people. Many artists painted and carved those events, but the Catholic Church searched, found, and destroyed most of them. In the 20th century, only less than 10 are available. As long as there are stars, there will be war. You can look at that. So if you want to go back and pause any of these, you can. This pattern of deception is common and has practiced for centuries either by religious organizations, secret sects, privately owned media, and infiltrated human governments. Images 1, 2, and 3 show commemorative coins, no transaction value, from 3 different families. They depict 3 ships from 2 alien races. A Western Europe magazine tried to debunk these as stating they were simply represented each family's shields. Further research proved that the images did not match any of the family shields. 2 different families would never use the same pattern. These images do not match any shield of the era. The images match well-known and reported alien ships. Recovered alien ships in the base of Capuchin Yar. 3 seemed abandoned, the 2 result of crashes. Alien ships monitoring the activity in the Falsik Missile Center, January 5, 92. The following are prints that were stolen in Sweden from APES USSR Alien Presence Intelligence Services. In conjunction with another foreign special service, 6 months later, these prints were, unknown reason, attributed to an American civilian as an invention and later as a fake. These prints were, 1 year later, copyrighted by an unknown person. All the most technologically important prints were never found nor revealed. The scientific data on these prints was changed. Also, many faked illustrations were added to the original documents. The original stolen, only 3 pages, and the faked copyright one had over 20 pages. These are the original prints. Oh my goodness. The USSR's failed attempt for now of recreating an alien ship. We know that there are at least 25,000 alien races. That number is likely to be much higher. One race, a crew member of the Mazarek ship that crashed near Zekaterinburg, said that there... So this is what happens when you don't travel. I just don't travel. Said that there are few races that do not come to Earth because they know that the reptilians and the Meta are here. Some of those races that avoid Earth are as violent, if not more, as the Meta. Others are peaceful. So having the reptilians and the Meta on Earth is not always a bad thing. It keeps even worse races away. The balance is found by having the Council of Five protecting us. The Mazarek crew member said the following: there are many more races that would like to protect humans, but they are not willing to start a war against reptilians or Mata over you. In the area known as the Bermuda Triangle, there have been 2 permanent underwater bases for thousands of years. The first one was established by the Matrax around 3,000 years ago, while the second has been there for 6,000 years, race unknown. Several other races have had bases there or near and have abandoned them. This photo shows the ruins of the abandoned base, Apis USA, using their influence in the media to propagate the rumour that it was a sank submarine. Later, Apis USA created a CGI video about it. Remember, we cooperate with the Apis, but we do not trust them or share information that is deemed confident or top secret. We still have a very limited knowledge of the activities occurring in the Bermuda Triangle area. From alien reports, we do know this. Abductions do occur in the area. Experimentations with humans do occur in those bases. There is a multi-dimensional space portal that goes to and from the triangle, not exactly inside the area known as the triangle. There is a race that is planning on creating new base in the triangle in the year 2021. Rumors say it is the Gigantic. It is not the most important underwater region on Earth to those alien races. There are some of the ships that were taken with the sole purpose confirmed by a third-party alien race by abducting humans. Pickering 1800, 90 people. Wasp 1814, 140. Grampus 1843, 48. Atlanta 1880, 290. Rafuka Maru 1924. Stavanger 1931, 43. The crash of Solipsi Ray ship in Roswell, USA, July 7, 1947, has been one of the most secretive Apis USA cases. Despite our best efforts, we were never able to recover any evidence except for the top secret photo on Annex, which is Annexure 3352B. Our agents estimate that 65% of all alien and UFO related websites on the internet are government or government linked, owned and ran. In the case of USA, only websites, that number jumps to 83%, in Europe 70%. In the USA, 35% those websites are run by NSA, 30% by CIA, 15% by the military, 10% by Apis USA, 5% by the FBI, and the rest unknown government agencies. In Russia, that number is around 33%, China 95%, Japan 70%, Australia 25%, India 55%, and Brazil 80%. In the so-called Area 51, there are members, number unknown, of 4 different races forcibly cooperating with humans and reptilians. As far as we know, none of those members are either high-ranking or have significant importance in their fields of expertise. The Mater and humans conduct security services and support to the base of 24/7. There's more than one race conducting in operations on the moon. The main race in the moon are the Induct, also known as tall white. The Methylai also have at least one base surface on what we call the dark side of Earth's satellite. Many of the Induct human abductees are there. They end up either as slaves for mining underground or what they call John and Mary's, but their official name is Students M. The Students M are abductees that reveal higher levels of intelligence and are willing participants or become that in their agenda and plans. It's estimated that 4 in each 10 abductees become Student M, but the rest, 60%, become slaves. Some of those slaves go on and work on other planets. The Students M, after training and whatever else, return to Earth to assume leadership roles in human society. Confirmed abduction chart. This is in the hundreds. In Australia, there have been 300 confirmed sightings and just under 200 confirmed abductions between 2001 and 2003. In the United States, there have been under 300 confirmed sightings and under almost like 150 or so confirmed abductions. You can see that on the chart there. I'll let you read that. Oops, sorry. The Tangri did say that there's a rumour that the humans did not act alone against the reptilians, that they had an alien race helping them behind the curtains. However, they also said that the moment of battle supposedly were only humans fighting, not aliens. Either way, it shows what humans can do and that nothing is lost. For posterity, those humans made these works of art, a reminder of a great day for their culture. One thing though, the story goes that 200 years later, that culture simply vanished. Day of Shame. The Tengu Tunguska incident was a powerful explosion that occurred in a desolate area near the Tunguska River in Russia in June 30, 1908. It's commonly believed that they have been caused by the explosion of a large meteoroid in Earth's atmosphere about 5 to 10 kilometers, 3 to 6 miles high. The blast flattened an estimated 60 million trees over 2,150 square kilometers. But the Tunguska explosion did not have a cosmic birth and death. Here's a version of events that led to the explosion as told by a member of the Tengri. For 5 days and 4 nights, near what you call Tunguska, the Maita had been fighting in Dorsey. Other races were starting to choose sides and were going to get involved. Even the Council of Five was worried with the escalation and seriousness of the event. On the day of the great explosion, an Elmanuk ship came to Earth in order to try ending the conflict. The Elmanuk are respected wherever they may go. They are wise and impartial. With them came a Pleiadian ship, one of their biggest. The Maita were warned by the reptilians of the coming presence of the Elmanuk and the Pleiadians. Earlier that day, the Maita had just shot down the last of the Dorsey ships. When the Pleiadians entered Earth's atmosphere, they were attacked by 3 Maita ships and destroyed. One Elmanuk ship was also destroyed in space that day, and that is what happened in Tunguska. Okay, so here's the photos. The Pleiadian ship was destroyed that day near Tunguska. Was not supposed to come to Earth that day. They were going to a different destination, carrying the things they do, their holy rocks and other materials. The Elmanuk asked them to help them in solving the conflict, and they paid the price with the endings of this life of theirs. In 2003, crystals with strange symbols, inscriptions, and holes were found in the Tunguska region. Further lab analysis showed that their composition is made of certain earth minerals as well as some elements that are not found on Earth. Note of myself and Petro. In late 2008, the crystals were presented to the media by Russian scientists. After much discussion about the origin of the crystals, the matter lost interest and it's supposed that the crystals now rest in a private collection. The Chokai, as aliens call them, are not an alien race as commonly accepted for many years as different apes. Aliens do not know how they evolved or where they came from. The only things we know about them are they exist in all continents. They live underground and are mostly nocturnal. They have structured society, leaders in the social classes. They have a cultural identity that supposedly they can live up to 250 years. None was ever captured alive. In October 2, 1947, a confirmed Maita landing happened. 2 days later, 12 soldiers on a fishing boat disappeared. In 1982, one of the missing sailors, Mr. Cryello, in 1947, only 16 years old, showed up in Mardu, Estonia. He reported that he'd been in the moon. He died in 1983 from a self-inflicted wound. On his chest, he carved with a knife the following: SS Waratah, they are still waiting. HMS Sickle was a submarine of the Royal Navy. In June 12 of 1944, it went missing while on patrol in the North Aegean. One member of the crew was found in 1971 near Bend, Oregon. In 1984, he became an advisor to USA President Ronald Reagan, and he was often seen in the company of Minnesota Governor Harold Stassen. As far as we've been informed, he is still alive. List of American politicians with connections to the reptilians confirmed. Former U.S. Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld, former Vice President Dick Cheney, former President George H.W. Bush, former President George W. Bush, former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, former President Bill Clinton, you know what I mean. Alien ships. Okay. SMAD. Now, if it's appearing jerky, it's as I'm scrolling. I don't want it to go too fast, because with this thing it does scroll fast. I have a picture, honestly. If you have seen, let me see if I can bring it up. Bear with me. Over my home. And it blocked everything out. And this is one I've taken in the Blue Mountains. So this is one that I actually captured coming out of the mountains. You can see that. But there's, if you have a look, and obviously you can't see my mouse, but if you have a look coming through the mountain, there's like a dark line there that's coming up. That went so quickly. It was actually on a video that I had when I was in the mountains. I don't know why I even went out that day. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it was because of that. I've no idea. I'm not going to say it's supernatural or anything. Maybe I was just lucky to be at the right place at the right time. And this thing just, I saw it really quickly. Something just sort of like caught like the light of the sun. And I can't find the other photos of it, which is a nuisance, because I've looked for everything, but these are very, very old. And here's another copy image address. I'm going to go back here. And enter. And you can see here, there's the same one moving off, and there were two little ones that came out of that particular one. So that larger line is the same one that's just moved off in that direction. It just sort of, you know, and it's sort of like split into three different, these were like little round orb ones, the ones at the top. So that's in the Blue Mountains in Sydney. This one here, that round light orb, sort of going to the one that is the top light on the right hand side, that was bouncing around in the middle, and those, see those lines of light, they were moving around the edges of it. It was right above me as I was standing in my backyard. Everything went completely, it was like daylight. I was tending to my garden. I was taking a few photos of the flowers. Everything just went pitch black around me. And I thought, what the hell? And I looked up, and it wasn't making any noise. It was just there. Now, I went, I think I told you, I'll just go back to our chat screen. I would have been about 22 or something like that. And I was, first of all, when I was younger, I would see these, it looked like a tiny little, I know this is probably sounding crazy. I think of it and I think, God, it sounds crazy to me. But I would see this like tiny little craft. It would come through the door. It would actually come through the actual solid door, the front door, or it was some sort of semi-solid, because my grandmother in those days, they used to have like the, you know, that crackly kind of glass panels between the front door. Now it's all like clear and everything, people can look in. But it would go through the glass and it would fly into my room. And there were a few times I would actually follow it, just seeing where it would go, and it would go straight back out that same way. But it would come in through this glass, just hover around me. And then all of a sudden I would find myself outside. I'm standing up, I'm looking at the sky, and the sky was alive. It was absolutely alive. I could see things moving about in the sky. It was incredible. Mind you, my grandfather came out and said, "What are you doing outside?" And I didn't even know how I got outside. So, but I'd be saying, "Look at the sky," and he'd say, "There's nothing there." I could see these lights just beaming, all different colors across the sky. Everything was like clouds in the sky, all illuminated, and he couldn't see it. I was seeing it, and I was awake, and I'm seeing all this going on. When I was about 20 something, 22, I was laying down and laying on the lounge. I had a unit, and I remember I was like napping, and I don't know what woke me. There was nothing that I can recall just waking me. Like I didn't hear a sound, I didn't feel anyone touch me. And I opened my eyes and I could see what, like just through my eyes like this, like just sort of slit type of thing. I could see these blobs coming through the ceiling, and they would form right around me. Basically, there were 3 of these blob things, and they would form as soon as the blob would hit the ground. It was like I don't know how to describe it. As soon as it would hit the ground, it would form into this figure, and I couldn't see their face or anything. They weren't like shadow people, but they sort of were, but I wouldn't say that it was shadow people. And all I kept like getting told was, keep your eyes closed, keep your eyes closed. And I had no idea what was going on. I couldn't feel anything. Of course, I'm sort of, a bit worried, thinking, what the hell's going to happen? So I start to open my eyes, and they're saying, keep your eyes closed. So I'm like this, trying to keep them closed, but I was like curious, who is this? And I was scared because I thought, okay, I just saw something there, probably a mozzie. I was curious as to what they were doing there, and then they just went. Don't know what happened, don't know what occurred after that, but it was like just a really, really bizarre type of event. And I was just overwhelmed. I'm thinking, my God, they've found me here. It was like I knew instantly they were ones that I had connected with when I was younger. Now, if you hear any like noise, that's the fan kicking in on my new laptop that I bought for these live streams to make them clearer. I don't know, try and sort of go with the times. So what's this? Mandy says, I've had similar experiences when I was a little girl. I had lights come through closed windows, would start with one, end up with hundreds around me dancing around my room. Well, I didn't have that, but it was actually like a little UFO. If you think about seeing a remote controlled UFO, I mean, back in those days they didn't have those, remote control things like they do, like drones. But that's what it was like coming through. It just sort of like came through, and it just somehow I was suddenly outside, but I didn't actually physically walk outside. I was just in my room 1 minute, next minute I'm outside in the open and amazed at the sky, amazed at the lights above me, the things that were happening. The activity was just overwhelming. It was really, but yeah, so in the yard, and it was massive. Honestly, it must have taken up at least 2 or 3 suburbs. That's how huge this thing was. And it completely blacked out the sun. There was no light whatsoever. Just hovering. Didn't even make a noise. Didn't even make a hum or anything like that. I didn't get sunburn or anything like that, or radiation. Nothing like that. That reminds me of how the sky looked when I was a kid. That everything was active and everything was moving about. So it was like you could see things flying through the sky, going into different, it was amazing. It really was. It was amazing. I wasn't scared. I was absolutely enthralled, just watching it with awe, thinking how beautiful it was. I can remember, I've probably told you about this, when I was little and I had that, I thought it was like a dream, where I ended up inside one of these things and I'm looking out the window. There was like a portal that I could see out of, and I went past this cemetery and I could see my mother's name, and I could see my name as it is now on a plaque, but I didn't recognize my name. I could see my mother's name, but I couldn't recognize my name because back then my name was Angela. And to see that, you know, Karen down there was sort of like, you know, a bit, took me back a bit, thinking, who's Karen? You know, thinking maybe I'm going to have a sister or something. I was like, yay, going to have a sister. But I asked my mother if she knew a Karen. She said no. And I told her about this, you know, thing that I experienced. And she said, I don't know any Karen. Don't have anyone in our family called Karen. So there you go. It's just weird. And then as it is, my mother, where she's interned, I will be with her in the family plot. And at the time, it was going to be a burial, but at the very last minute, we decided to go cremation. And that's how I saw the plaque. There's been a lot of reports about people who fly planes who've actually seen and witnessed some unidentified objects in the sky. I'm sure if you Google or do a YouTube search of witnessing UFO, you'll see, look at this, very old photos. Let's see if I can zoom out of that one. Personal messages, face-to-face and/or transmissions from several alien races obtained voluntarily and/or under custody and distress. They were obtained by several different APIS, alien presence intelligence services, from around the world, but mainly from the USSR, Russia, USA, China, and Japan. These statements do not express the opinions of all alien races on any of the mentioned issues. In fact, they differ substantially on some issues, especially when dealing with the future of the human race. 5 universes, 25,000 species, 1 race. The violence and hatred that humans have inside themselves when compared to the violence and hatred that the race Mater has inside themselves is like comparing a flower to a volcano. In 2017, you will see the beginning. In 2022, you will see the beginning of the end, unless you all change. Illuminati pestis. We have given you so much, and you have given yourselves so little. Space and time are nothing. We are nothing. She is everything. We are 834 known species at the same level that you humans were 3,000 years ago, and they are not very far away from you. We have shown you to some of them, like we have shown some of the others to you, now and then, and they are afraid of you, of what you may become. The signs are all around you, and above you, and inside of you, in the fields of the sky and the stars, and in the eyes of your children and your old ones. Of all species we have found in 3 universes, you are the one with the most suicidal thoughts. Your planet only has less than 1% of what many races that visit you want or need, but your planet is in the right place to all of them. The importance that 1,000 races give to you is the same that you give to 1 grain of sand in the desert. Your planet just happens to be in the right place, sometimes the wrong place. You humans have been misled, and you grow up too fast. Just like you learn to love a stranger after you meet him, some of us have learned to love you. We will always protect you until the day you say no more. We cannot protect you every day. There are 5 known universes in 5 different dimensions to protect. Your world is full of lines. Follow them. The Council of 5 will become the Council of None, and then your planet will face the Council of Death. No other race ridicules other races and each other like yours do. Soon, 1 year, you will feel like 1 million to you. And in Greece, you will find yours and our past. We, the martyr, will be the new she. You believe in many things that you do not see, except for the only thing you do not see but should believe in, and that has always been all around you. You just choose to forget it. You chose to forget it. There is much worse than the race martyr. We know it, we have seen them, and we have seen what they have done, and they know about you humans. There are so many of ours in you. There are so many of us that you adore in places that you adore and in places that you hate. We could stop your sun from rising tomorrow, 500 years, and you are still lying to each other. Soon this dream of yours will end. You have lost 1,000 years in the past 50 years. If you go to Mars, Mars will come to you. That is what they do. Your children that now live inside the moon do not miss you anymore. Thousands of your children go missing every year, never to be found again, and yet you still expect your television to save them when inside of you, you already know the answer. Reptilians and Marta killed him with your help. Innocent secret sex and malevolent secret sex, and you adore them both. She is not inside of you anymore. We have died for you, and still you fear us. Why threatening us if we came to you offering you long life? You kill each other every day in the name of saving each other, and you have been doing that since before we talked to you. The Anuka created you once. They will not create you again. We will destroy you, and the Anuka, and the time is near. 8 years in 1 day, 8 years in 1 day, 8 years in 1 day. Almost all races went to war, but not with themselves. Your modern gods are confused, your ancient gods are forgotten. Look at the stars and you will see us every day looking at you. If you look too far, you will see something you do not want to. The Kerrs showed up again, Washington, D.C. The Kerrs are not supposed to be here. What is going on? Palladians in Bora Bora, Apis, Russia, USA ignored them again. Why did the martyr accepted guilt for 2000? More planes are being ready for 2017. Bush will do what Bush is told, like the ones before him. 3 more economies destroyed. Why don't people see it? In August 2013, USA, try Alfalfa Market Road in Oregon. want to see, watch 50. This is obviously a coordinates 54.7371 north, 55.9667 east, August 27. JFK had DNA from the first race, Koryakum 3. Why did they choose Putin to start the avalanche? The black will be white and the yellow will be red. These are some of the handwritten notes and updates found on the Alien Races book pages. There are literally hundreds of them, about 3 or 4 in each page. We chose the ones that we deemed more relevant. Otherwise, this publication would have thousands of pages. We may one day publish all notes. As Napoleon, Alexander, and Hitler did, so will the rest. How blind are people they cannot see what's in the Grand Canyon? Connect London, Berlin, and Cairo. 2 kilometres south from the Vatican, small pink house, always for rent, never rented, they keep it there. Charola dos Templarius. Why do Australian humans do not see September 23? Caravigo has it. The Pope and Castro met again last week with Marta. The states are losing ground now. Funny, Putin using Medvedev in front of everybody. Ha ha ha. Ever since humans and aliens started cohabiting Earth, the main question humans wanted answered was, who created the universe and all of us? The question has been answered the same exact way, or by all the alien races that have spoken about it. The answer to that question has been sent several times by 2 different races to all human religious leaders throughout the centuries. The answer to that question has been sent several times by 2 different races to some human political leaders throughout the centuries. As far as we know, the last of those leaders to get the message was USA President JFK in October 3, 1963. The message was sent by these 2 races, Rame, Jeffolk. The message is both simple and complex, informative but raising questions of hope but also a warning. And this is the message. This is a message of disambiguation to all of you men and humankind. This is a message of redirection to all of you men of the humankind. This is a message to enliven the minds of you men of the humankind. This is a message that has been delivered from race to race since the beginning. Just like it was delivered to us, it is now passed to you. Where there were no men of the humankind, there were others of other kinds. This is a message to you as well, women of the humankind. Only the first race has her purity. All other races must live the grievous, patient, and laborious process of spiritual inner discovery and progression. Our collective history and memory has suffered much in the past. It has been erased, manipulated, suffocated, shifted, changed, and moulded according to the interests of a few on your planet as well as ours and the ones of other kinds in the past. To the leaders of kingdoms and countries and regions, look at your religious leaders. To the religious leaders, look at yourselves and the ones you like you, leaders of other religions, all over your planet. Why do you wear your long robes and skirts and all manners of symbols that you do not understand? Why do you, religious leaders, men of the humankind, wear your long robes and skirts not knowing why? Who, men of the humankind, are you trying to be? Who, men of the humankind, are you trying to represent? They look so small, don't they? Okay. This page and images is not original to the book. It was added by myself and Petro to serve as an illustration. Your religious men of the humankind and you leaders of kingdoms and countries and regions, men, the humankind, have slowed your spiritual progress in half because you have divided your kind in half. No men of the humankind should destroy what the women of the humankind have created. You have for many of your years relegated the women of the humankind to the roles of slaves. And before your kind, many other kinds have done that. And before your kind, men of the humankind, many other kinds we have warned. For you to achieve what is yours, for you men and women of the humankind, to be closer to her, you must first become one kind. Like many kinds before you, men and women of the humankind, you have a journey of restraint and constriction ahead of you, a journey of difficulty and resistance, but unlike many kinds before you, you are on a path of spiritual self-destruction never experienced or self-provoked by the other kinds before. And yet you are so young. The Anunnaki created you, but many kinds can destroy you. You have 2,000 more of your years to change. After that, men of the humankind, it will be too late. Not too late for your survival, but too late for your salvation, your spiritual salvation. The Council of Five can only keep you safe from other kinds, not from yourselves. We must know that you have been And we know that you have been betrayed, misled and mistreated. And we know that after thousands of your years, by means of infiltration, disguisement and deceit, you men of the humankind have been fooled to believe the unacceptable by races that do not wish you well. But before you, many other kinds suffered the same, and they too overcome what seemed impossible to overcome. Your strength is inside you and all around you, even now. Your strength is in her, and she is inside you, men and women of humankind, even now. And the answer is in the place that you, humankind, call Greece. And the answer is she, Artemis Diana. And the answer have always been her. The answer, men and women of the humankind, has been the same to all kinds in all places. Gosh, it's getting a mumble jumble. Some accept it, others don't, but the answer is only one, she. It has been this way from the beginning, and it will be this way, men and women from the humankind, until the end. It has been this way here in all four universes and dimensions. She has many names, many faces, and lives in many places. She is the creator, not the destroyer. In your planet, she was and is called Diana, or Goddess Diana. In our planets, she was called Alexei. She was also called on other planets Lexei, Dixei, and Tixei. To you, the humankind, she will always be Goddess Diana. Search for her, learn of and from her. She is the truth, the light, the beginning, but never the end, the creator and never the destroyer, the one all of us came from. And learn from your legendary Greek gods of old, as they all did exist, as you exist and we exist. And we are one, and she is the one. She is the one that you, religious men from the humankind, lost in your robes and memory. want to be and try to replicate. Men of the humankind learn from her, the Creator. A list of popes whom the message has been transmitted to. Cornelius, 3rd century. Maltides, 4th century. Calixtus II, 12th century. John the 7th, 8th century. Pius the 7th, 19th century. John Paul I, 20th century. List of Islamic leaders whom the message has been transmitted to. And I'm going to just let you read those because I'm not even going to try to pronounce them. Final thoughts. The future of the human race is not in our hands at this point in time. One day it might be. All that we real humans can do right now is to gather all the information that we can about these alien races and their habits, to find out about their weaknesses and strengths so that when our future becomes our responsibility, we can be prepared to fight for it if needed. Today, we are just mere spectators watching a theatre play. Some of us are watching the play completely unaware that what we are watching is real. The actors, aliens, are real. The play, storyline is real. The stage and the props, alien worlds, alien ships, and odd cosmic events are real. Others know that what they are watching is real, but there's nothing that they can do about it. They cannot change the play, and certainly they cannot go to another theatre where the play is more of their liking. The only thing they can do is watch. Others, like you and me, your companion agents and few more worldwide, are spectators taking notes about what is in front of them, about the play, about the actors, about the setting and props. We are all learning about and writing about everything we see, so that one day when we have an opportunity to change the storyline, we are prepared to do so. But beware, amongst the spectators, there are many that are not paying attention to that play. They are only watching the other spectators around them, especially the ones taking notes. And those spectators look just like you and me. They can be seated right beside you. Sometimes they are even the ones that gave you the ticket for the play, and sometimes you are your own parent. Sometimes they are your own parents. Get it right, Karen. Latest update to the book. One of the stages used by Pope Francis during his visit to Brazil, July 2013. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I thought it was an interesting topic to discuss tonight, and one that many of you might have some questions about, or you might encourage you to talk with others around you about it. But that's all I've got to offer for you tonight, and I really do hope you've enjoyed it. So have a great weekend, or sorry, weekend's over, it's Sunday. Have a great week ahead, and I will see you next fortnight.